Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Stacy and I'm the Pleiadian Awakener. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the planet Mars, and he's going retrograde in the sign of Gemini, and what does that mean for each and every one of us. So we're actually in this energy right now. So shadow period started September the 3rd of 2022. And this energy will last until middle of March of 2023. Now, Mars will officially go retrograde in the sign of Gemini at 25 degrees, starting on October 30th of 2022. And then he will go direct January the 12th of 2023 at 8 degrees of Gemini. Now, Mars takes about 2 years to go around the entire zodiac, and he spends approximately 6 to 7 weeks in every single sign. That's if he is direct. Now, the last one we experienced, just as an example, so think back to 2020, Mars was retrograde in his home sign of Aries. So, I mean, the biggest thing obviously that comes to our minds, right, is the pandemic. So think back to that time, what was happening in your life? What did you have to pivot, rethink, redo? I'm not saying the same things are going to happen because that was in Aries. And now we're dealing with a different sign of Gemini. And just to give you some history here, because I was looking back as to when Mars was in Gemini retrograde. So he was in Gemini and Cancer retrograde in 2007, 2008. So certainly think back to that time as to what was happening in your life. Now, I did go further back. 1990, 1976, and 1961 is when Mars was going retrograde in Gemini. Now, I did look ahead. The next cycle that we'll experience with Mars going retrograde in Gemini, actually it's going to be backing into Gemini and Taurus, is October of 2037. So as you can see, quite a bit of a gap for when Mars returns back to a sign for a retrograde cycle for all of us. So Mars rules the first house of Aries and traditionally the 8th house of Scorpio. So basically the I am house, which is our physical appearance, the ego, the identity, the body, our attitudes, and also the I desire house, which is the 8th house of sex, death, rebirth, taxes, joint finances, anything to do with properties, inheritances. These areas of our lives might need some reflection, might cause us some frustration. There might be areas where we're going to have to kind of put on the brakes in this area of life. Now, to add another layer to that, this is happening in Gemini. So Gemini rules the 3rd house of the mind, communications, transportation, siblings, cousins, neighbors, relatives, and also short distance travel. So that too might be up for some review, reflection, and possibly some challenges and frustrations as well. Now, Mars is a super fiery, spicy planet. Like, he is our drive. He wants to just go, go, go. So Mars is how I chase and get what I want. And it is where we direct our power and our passion. And obviously Mars just wants to go forward. Mars just wants to go, 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 go. He wants to compete. He doesn't want to put the brakes on. He doesn't want to think about his actions. He doesn't want to stop and think. He just wants to move forward. Therefore, he doesn't like going backwards. He doesn't like being in retrograde, because in retrograde, he and we will be forced to stop. We're going to be forced to slow down. We're going to be asked to slow down because it's going to be roadblock after roadblock after roadblock if we keep trying to move forward on something that isn't meant to be or on our path or meant for us, for example. So our patience is definitely going to get tested at this time. We have to, stop and take stock of what is happening in our lives right now versus just continuing to plow through life and just move things forward. we might have to deal with our past actions during this time as well. We have to put aside, this is going to be really difficult for some people, but we got to put aside the ego. And that's going to be very challenging because anger and frustration also revolves around this retrograde. I don't want to ignore that, but that's what I love about astrology, is that this will prepare you for these type of energies when they show up. If they haven't already, I don't know about you, but I've been feeling this energy since September. So it's definitely here to stay until March. So we need to be aware of ourselves, people around us, and our surroundings for sure. So Mars in the sign of Gemini, this is going to make our communications extremely, extremely powerful, very intense. We need to be mindful of our words. So I'm sure you've heard the saying, words can be used to heal and harm, right? So our words at this time could really be used as weapons. So just please be mindful of that. And again, be mindful of people projecting their shit onto you. I've really noticed an uptick of that ever since Mars popped into the sign of Gemini. So do be mindful of that and do your best to step away from stuff like that if you notice it happening. Now, this is also the sign of the trickster. Gemini is a little bit of a tricky energy at times. So be aware of bullshit. Be aware of bullshitters that are trying to tell you that the sky is bleeding or that the sky is purple. Be aware of that energy because it is around us. Now, to channel this energy in a positive way, you can be an incredible negotiator, for example, and you could be an incredible manifester if you just get clear with the universe on what you want to manifest in your life. And now is the best time to do it. This is more of a reflection period in any area of your life. So I always encourage people to channel this energy in a positive way. Now, accidents. This is definitely going to heighten accidents. I noticed this again when Mars moved into the sign of Gemini. I've been noticing this for over a month now, that accidents suddenly went up in my area. And I don't live in a big city. I live in a small city. And let me tell you, I noticed it on the news right away. Accidents. I witnessed one from a distance, and I'm like, yikes, that's Mars going into the sign of Gemini, which rules transportation, and Mars rules metal. So please be careful, you guys out there. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I work from home, I don't own a car, I walk, does not matter. You got to be aware of people on the road. If you're on a bike, be extremely aware of your surroundings and make sure your bike is in proper order. Even if you walk all the time or walk to work, be mindful of where you're walking. Be mindful of the shoes on your feet or your footwear. So it's just little things like that unfortunately we have to pay more attention to during this time. Along with our thoughts, our mind could be really racing at this time. It might be tough to sleep for some of us. Just be mindful of that energy and be mindful if you're going into negative downward spirals. So just be mindful of that energy as well and do your best to get out of that funk. Don't let it suck you down into a negative Nancy type of attitude. So, and watch out for sharp objects because again, Mars rules metal. So scissors, needles, if you're in the sewing business, please be careful. Or if you're in the automotive industry, be just way more aware these next 6 months. And also just moving about in general, just moving around in your home. Be a little bit slower with that next step, especially if you're going downstairs. And not a good time to forge ahead. I think I touched on this earlier. Our patience will be tested during this time. There will be delays. So if you're pushing and executing on things, and you're just doing it out of impatience, it might backfire on you. Maybe not right away, but maybe in March or January when Mars goes direct. So that's fine to redo. This is a really good time to reassess, redo all those, anything to start with re. Not the best time to start anything new unless you absolutely, positively have to, which is totally fine because all of our charts are a little bit different. So this energy is going to hit us in different ways. Now, when it comes to our health, please watch and guard the head, your head area, the lungs, the arms, and the fingers during this time, because these parts of the body are going to be extra sensitive, let's say. They're going to be prone to illness and injury. So, for example, if you know you get that chest cold all the time, I don't know, work with your physician, work with a naturopathic doctor, try to boost your immune system sooner than later, because we are already in this energy right now. So, and again, if you're prone to headaches and migraines, I know I am, yeah, they're going to be sort of on the uptick the next 6 months. That's another thing I certainly noticed myself as well. And when he goes retrograde, those sort of, any sort of headaches, migraines, anything to do with the head issues might kind of pop up. They will be short-lived though, which is good because they're coming up for a reason for all of us to address these health issues once and for all. So don't be scared. I'm just preparing you for anything that might come up. Now, if you have any personal planets in Gemini, Mars will be conjuncting them possibly up to 3 times. And same with if you have any angles or a stellium or anything like that in Gemini, but say you're not a Gemini, again, this energy will affect you for sure. So Mars is going to infuse these planets or points in your chart with that warrior, spicy, go, go, go type of energy. But when Mars goes retrograde, you're pulling that energy back in and reflecting or redoing something in your life, depending on where this is in your chart. Now, if you are a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, you obviously will feel this energy the most. We already talked about Gemini. So Virgo, Sag, Pisces, this energy will be squaring your planets or points in your chart. So a little bit more of a difficult, challenging aspect for you. But again, it's happening for a reason, okay? Nothing just happens to us. The universe and these planets work for us. So just keep that in mind. And then if you are a Leo, Libra, Aquarius, and Aries, these are more supportive aspects. Aries, you could be a double-edged sword. We'll get into that because you're ruled. So Aries and Scorpio, you are ruled by Mars. So this energy could go either way. It just means this retrograde is maybe a little bit more important to you versus the other signs. Now, Leo, Libra, Aquarius, I'm not saying you're off the hook. I'm just saying your energy meshes well with Gemini energy and also the way it touches your chart. So a little bit more supportive doesn't mean it's going to be, you know, rainbows and sunshine for you. It's just a little bit more supportive energy. And again, pay attention to any planets or points in your chart from 8 to 25 degrees, because that's the path Mars will be traveling back and forth. So again, and especially if you're a Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces, Leo, Libra, Aquarius, or Aries. Definitely critical for those signs. Now, the signs that I didn't mention, we're going to get into. It doesn't mean nothing is happening for you. It's just that you're at a little bit of a different sort of like a quincunx angle. So the energy is still there. It's just not maybe as prominent, or it's like an awkward energy. So we'll get into that. One thing I want to mention before we dive into the signs here. Mars square Neptune that's currently in Pisces. I don't like this energy. I don't think any astrologer likes this energy. this is going to be an increase in violence and aggression all over the world. So I'm sure you've seen this already. I definitely, so we're in this energy right now. Mars is squaring Neptune as we speak, as I record this video on October the 15th of 2022. We're in this energy right now. This energy will back off, but this energy is going to rear its ugly head again in January. I don't like doing doom and gloom crap. I don't believe in that. It's how we utilize this energy, you guys. And it just makes us more aware of, you know, the batshit craziness around us and how can we make a difference, you know, in our community, our neighborhoods, our cities, our towns, whatever. Just be aware of this energy. I'll give you a really quick example of this because I wasn't going to include this in this video, but I literally just heard this on the news last night. So as some of you know, or some of you don't know, I live in Northern Ontario, Canada. And there's a story that came out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm nowhere near Toronto. I'm a little bit further northwest. But unfortunately in Toronto, there's been robberies going on at pharmacies. And I guess this has been happening ever since August timeframe, pretty much when, you know, I think it kind of started when Mars hopped into Gemini as well. Anyway, there's these robberies at pharmacies, and they're holding up pharmacies and pharmacists just to get pills to sell on the streets. Or, for example, Oxy. They're getting Oxy to sell on the street. And I thought to myself, you know, and in the process, people are getting hurt and shot and stuff like that. This, I hate to say this, but this is a perfect example of Mars, which rules guns, violence, aggression, and then Neptune, which rules drugs, illusion, the fantasy world. And I'm not saying Neptune is bad. Neptune, every single planet has light and dark. It's how people use this energy. So you see what I mean? I'm sure you're connecting the dots by now. It's not a good energy unless we take it higher. So, and I know all over in the States, I've heard of shootings as well. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to dwell on that. It's heartbreaking. It's frustrating to hear. I'm sure it's frustrating on your end too, to hear all this stuff happening. But anyway, I wanted to bring it up. It reminded me last night. Be aware of this energy. It's with us right now. It's going to come up again in January, and it's going to kind of linger. So just please be aware of your surroundings, people. Just be aware. And maybe don't irritate that batshit crazy person that's like, I don't know, going off on you or going off on someone else. Just do your best to get out of the situation safely if you can. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox here. I just want, like I said, I love astrology for at least warning people about certain energies, the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay. Okay, let's get into each and every sign and see, you know, where Mars is going to wake you up, where Mars is going to shake up your world and make you, you know, slow down a little bit and reassess something in your life. Now, keep in mind, I'm using a whole house, whole sign system. I use Western tropical astrology, so this is not going to resonate for everyone. Everyone's natal charts are different. Everybody uses different house systems. So take what resonates, leave the rest. I do recommend you watch for your ascendant, your sun, your moon sign. If you don't know, most of us know our sun signs, but if you don't know your ascendant and moon, you can go to astro.com and you plunk in your information and it'll pump out a free birth chart for you. Okay, so starting with Aries. Sorry, I got to take a sip. Okay, let's start with Aries. This is happening in your third house of the mind, communications, transportation, siblings, cousins, neighbors, and short distance travel. So Aries, be aware at this time you might struggle to express your anger, your frustration, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. If you're feeling that right now, that is normal. Just Aries, well, you are ruled by Mars. So do your best to channel this energy. Get outside, do some yard work, hit the pavement for a run, a walk, exercise, dive into hobbies, dive into something with your kids, go camping or hiking. Do your best to channel this energy as best as you can. But do know it's going to be normal if you're starting to struggle with these thoughts and feelings and emotions and anger and frustration and you don't know how to express it. That's just Aries waking up your communication sector and making you maybe revisit on how you express yourself. Watch out for negative thoughts. Watch out for self-worth. You might be thinking, well, I'm not worthy. If you start going down that dark path, write out positive affirmations. Put them in. I love sticky notes. Put things on sticky notes. Find some positive affirmations on the internet. Write them out or print them out. Put them, on your mirror, in your bedroom, workplace, wherever you can see them, to help you get through this transit. You might want to take a break from social media. This is a fantastic time to do it because guess what? There's going to be tons of keyboard heroes out there, or keyboard gremlins or trolls, whatever you want to call them. They're going to come out of the muck and they're going to just be very present online for the next 6 months, starting, last month, technically. So just be mindful of this and don't get sucked into it, Aries. Okay. Don't get sucked into it. It's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it. Now, also keep in mind, there might be tensions, arguments, frustrations with siblings, cousins, neighbors in neighborhoods, or even with relatives. Be mindful of this. Now, this is also a fantastic time to heal these relationships if you are in conflict with any of these groups that I just mentioned. Great time to heal this energy as well. Not a good time to purchase vehicles, Aries, unless you're in dire straits, unless your motor blows up or something like that and you're like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a motor, then okay, fine, go out and buy a vehicle. You got to be careful though, because again, Mars rules metal, so it's not the best time to buy a vehicle. If you can wait until January, perfect. If you can wait till March, better yet. So just keep that in mind. Things might break on your vehicle at this time, or your bike, or if you take the train to work, there might be some sort of delay due to a breaking of something, or if you take the bus. So just be mindful of that. I'm not saying accidents galore. I'm just saying, Aries, you got to be mindful of this, just like everybody's got to be mindful of this energy right now. Also be mindful of headaches, migraines. They might increase over the next 6 months. Keep in mind this too shall pass. So do your best to protect your head, especially if you do any sort of sports involving the head. Protect the head, protect the lungs. Do your best to protect your arms and your hands and your fingers at this time as well, because these parts of the body are going to be prone to illness, injury, inflammation. So just be mindful of this. Now, Taurus, this is happening in your second house of money, work, finances, your income, your values, and also your material possessions. So Taurus, you might be re-looking at your material possessions at this time. Like, do you really need those 3 cars in the garage? Do you really need those rental properties? Or whatever the case may be. Do you really need, 101 dolls or whatever, whatever the case may be for you, Taurus? Really good time to reassess those material possessions in your life and ask yourself, do they bring me joy? Do they bring me happiness? And if they do, great, keep them. But if they don't, and that energy is starting to wane, put them up for sale. Get some cash, Taurus, anyway, I'm not telling you what to do. Just a good time, good energy to utilize going through your material possessions at this time. Now, you might also have the urge to buy things and spend money impulsively, like really impulsively. So again, Taurus, be very mindful of this. Not a good time to buy vehicles because, again, Mars rules metal. Not a good time to buy a car at this time. Again, unless you're in dire straits and your car blows up and you're like, oh my God, it's going to be, $3 or $5 grand to fix. No. Like, you make that decision, you make that call. I'm just saying, be very mindful if you're going out and buying any type of machinery at this time, because again, Mars rules metal. And what else here? And this goes for any purchases, Taurus. Like, if you're looking to buy property, if you're looking to buy, I don't know, a $10,000 spa package, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, okay? Maybe hold off on buying those really high ticket items until January, or better yet, March. And again, expenses might come up at this time. So if you're a saver, Taurus, which I have no doubt, probably most of you are, expenses might come up. So things in the home might break. Something on your car might break and you have to fix it. I would recommend fixing it sooner than later. I would not recommend leaving it during this time. Now, speaking of spending money, if you want to invest in something, invest in like a self-esteem course, or boosting your self-esteem or your values or something like that, within reason, of course. I'm not asking you to, break the bank, but if you want to take up a little online course of self-esteem, or how to value yourself more or others or something like that, good time to do it. Good time to do it. Just make sure you're doing it for you and not somebody else. Like, really good time to invest in yourself, Taurus. Also a great time to invest in self-care. Maybe not the $10,000 spa package, but maybe an $80 massage, or maybe a $70 foot treatment or reflexology treatment would be delicious for you right now, Taurus. Whatever makes you feel yummy, I'd say do it, indulge in it, but within reason. It's in your bank account, Taurus. You know what you can afford, but absolutely a great time to invest in your self-worth and making yourself feel beautiful. So, okay, so Gemini, let me just take a drink here. Gemini, you're the star of the show here. This is happening in your first house of the physical appearance, your body, your ego, your attitude, also your style. So Gemini, you might want to really radically change your look in some way, shape, or form, whether it's clothing, whether it's surgery, whether it's, a new makeup thing or hairstyle, whatever the case may be. I would just say hold off if you can until January, or better yet, March. Definitely do all the research. I'm just saying, if you pull the trigger on anything right now, you might regret it in March. And not a good time to go under the knife, people. I'm just thinking for plastic surgeries or any type of body modifications. Not the best time, because Mars rules metal, Mars, including needles, knives, surgeries. Now, mandatory surgeries, that's completely different. If you have to have a hip replacement, knee replacement, whatever the case may be, that's different. That's completely different. I'm talking about something to alter your look. This includes piercings and this includes tattoos, people. So if you're going to get piercings and tattoos and stuff like that, make sure it's what you want, because in March you might regret it. I'm just putting it out there. You also might relook, Gemini, of how you actually present yourself out in the world. Definitely not a bad time to do that. Fantastic time to reassess, attitude, personality, ego. Perfect time to do any sort of self-help type of courses or classes or books. Perfect time to do it. Perfect time to do it. And let me just see here if there's anything else. Again, same with your wardrobe, nothing too drastic. I mean, I wouldn't recommend going out and spending 10, 20 grand on a new wardrobe. If you want to go out and buy a jacket or a shirt or something like that, obviously that's fine. But again, Gemini, you know your bank account. You take it from there. Just, I don't recommend going out and betting the farm and changing your whole lifestyle on, the blink of an eye, and you might regret it, especially come March. Now, Gemini, you might experience more headaches during this time. You might actually have difficulty sleeping this time. During this time, I mean, so the next 5 months or so, and definitely guard the head area, guard your lungs, your arms, and your fingers, because these areas of your body, for all of us too, are going to be prone to illness, prone to injury, prone to inflammation. So just be aware of that, especially because Mars is in your sign. So this is definitely very, very critical. You're one of the signs that this is just very critical to be mindful of your health and well-being. And again, you might notice an uptick in headaches and migraines. This too shall pass. Just do your best to maybe introduce more self-care into your routine at this time. Now, Cancer, this is happening in your 12th house of the unseen, healing, closures, karma, the subconscious mind, secrets. So Cancer, at this time, you might have a love affair, a heated, spicy love affair could come up at this time for you, or could be on the offer on the table for you at this time. Feelings, thoughts, emotions might really bubble up to the surface, and you don't really know what to do with them. You don't know where they're coming from. Again, this is subconscious energy, Cancer, and they're bubbling up for a reason, for you to acknowledge and heal them. Great time to work with a therapist or counselor. And again, Cancer, you might have to really channel this energy. Don't sit there and stew. Get out and walk. Get out and exercise. Get out with family or grandkids or whatever, walk the dog, whatever the case may be. Channel this energy into something, or also yard work if you're able to do that. Definitely a great time to channel this type of energy. You might be really indecisive. I think all of us are going to be really indecisive at this time. You might be more prone to it because, again, it's more of in your chart, more of a hidden area. Also, it might be really difficult to sleep. So if that's the case, again, this too shall pass, but work with a naturopathic doctor or your physician or whatever to help you sleep better at night. There's also incredible sleep apps out there. There's teas out there, herbal teas that you can have. So anyway, lots of advice on the internet, but yeah, just pick what works for you. Really good time to sleep, to rest, to rejuvenate. Try to be still, but if you do find yourself getting antsy, anxiety, try to channel it into exercise or cleaning the house, or, like I said, getting out and about in some way, shape, or form. Now, I don't mean get behind the wheel and pedal the metal. No, not a good time for that, Cancer. But just, try to channel that energy if you're feeling a little bit anxious or frustrated. Great time to get into meditation. Great time to get into positive podcasts, positive affirmations. Excellent time to get into that reading. Make sure it's positive reading, though. Don't start reading those creepy, weird freaking books. Not a good time. I'm all about nonfiction, okay? I love those books too, but maybe not the best time when Mars is in your 12th house. Pamper yourself, Cancer. Spoil yourself within reason. Go for that massage. Go for that reflexology treatment, foot treatment, mani-pedi, whatever you're into. Pamper yourself during this time. And again, I think this goes for all of us, but do watch out for headaches. Do watch out for, injuries, illnesses of the head, of the lungs, of the hands and arms and fingers. So just be mindful of these areas of the body. Do your best to protect them. And especially for you, Cancer, also mental health might come into the limelight here. So definitely, again, work with a therapist if stuff starts coming up for you. But yeah, just be mindful of your health because Mars inflames whatever it touches. So, this could be inflammation in the body and definitely, being a little bit more susceptible to illness, injury, again, head, arms, fingers, lungs. And just think, Cancer, this too shall pass. So you'll be out of this energy come March, and actually that's when Mars will be going into your sign. So you'll get an energy boost in March, April timeframe. Leo, this is happening in your 11th house of friends, groups, community, hopes, wishes, dreams, and any sort of long-term goals. So Leo, this could really be old friendships, old memberships or associations or people that you knew in the past coming back into your life. This could also mean just you running into people, running into people from your past. Great time to rethink your friendships. Actually, your friendships right now, groups, associations, they might frustrate you a little bit right now. So keep that at the top of your mind. Be aware of that. There might be a little bit more conflicts, for example, with friendship groups at this time. I'll give you an example, Leo. So like maybe you're the glue of one of your friendship circles or a work circle or something like that. And you're the one that's always planning dinners, scheduling this, scheduling that, booking this, booking that. Let someone else do that. Maybe take a step back. And this might come to your attention a little bit more during this cycle because it might trigger you or frustrate you. So again, try not to lash out at people, but again, be aware of people lashing out at you as well. So again, just be mindful of that. Be mindful of people taking you for granted, but also Leo, you have the power to take advantage of people. So again, be mindful of your intentions and your power of persuasion during this time, and it can be flipped on you. So this energy could go either way. Definitely a really good time to sort out any sort of toxic relationships, meaning I don't really mean lovers because this is hitting your 11th house. I mean friendships, associations, any sort of group that you belong to. Just really good time to weed out those toxic people that you don't need in your life right now. And if you do have toxic friendships, relationships, that might be amplified during this period of time, and it might really come to your attention. So just be mindful of that. And a really good time, Leo, to reassess your long-term goals, your hopes, your wishes, your dreams. Maybe you were going after something or saving for something, and you might have a gut check during this time and be like, you know what? I think I'm going to go a different route. I think I'm going to invest here, or I think I'm going to put my time and energy in here. I think I'm going to go after this instead of this. So really good time to reassess that in your life, any sort of ambitions, long-term goals, any hopes, wishes, dreams that you were trying to bring to the fore. Really good time to reflect on those and if you still want them in your life or attract them into your life, I mean. Okay, Virgo, I'm just going to take a sip here. Virgo, this is happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, your public image, your long-term goals. This is also the parental axis. So more so the male, a male figure in your life, but it could be male or female. So Virgo, there might be some tension in your career during the next 6 months. And if you're saying, well, I don't work, well, there might be some frustrations in the household, for example. You might also think about what other people think of you. That might just come to the fore more often. Definitely watch your reputation during this time. Be mindful of your actions, because I feel like, Virgo, you're going to be kind of in the spotlight when it comes to a career or your reputation or whatever you put out in the world. If you own a business, you might come across as a little bit more aggressive, but just be mindful of that, Virgo. Just be a little bit mindful of that. And if someone says something to you, don't react and go off the wall. Again, this is what I like about astrology. It prepares us of how this energy might be affecting us. Now, you might want to relook at your reputation. You know, what is your reputation? What is it worth to you? You might be chasing after something or worried about something that, you know what, maybe you just don't want anymore. You know, your goals, your ambitions. Maybe you're, again, go, 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 go. And if you're like, oh my God, just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, step back and think, why? You know, maybe I am meant to take another path or go at this at another angle, or maybe I can pull in someone who can help me. So just start asking questions like that when roadblocks come up for you during the next, again, 6 months starting last month. So we have about 5 more months of this energy. Definitely a good time to redefine, reclarify your goals, your ambitions, what you want. Plant those seeds of intentions, Virgo. Very powerful time to do that. And also, if you want to change your job, great time to do that. If you applied for a job in the past and you never heard back from them, follow up or reapply or connect with someone. It might not happen right away, because again, if you're met with roadblocks and delays, those could be blessings in disguise. So just be patient. The energy will shift in January, and then especially in March. I feel like it will, I just heard birth something new, so I'll take that. You know, we could all be stepping into something new in March. And because this is the parental axis, Virgo, there could be some challenges, difficulties with your parents, or more so a male, but it could be a female as well. But this also goes for the workplace. Authority figures, if your boss is a male, could be female. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there might be tensions in the workplace, in the home, dealing with your parents. Just be mindful of that energy and try not to push so hard. It might not be worth it, Virgo. Just unless it's life or death, especially dealing with parents. That's a different story, but just be mindful of pushing too hard during this time, and just ask yourself, is it worth it? Can it wait? Now, Libra, this is happening in your 9th house of higher education, teaching, long distance travel, ethics, beliefs, excuse me, meeting people from different cultural backgrounds or working with people from different cultures. So Libra, you might think that your belief systems or your religion is dragging you down. It might make you angry, frustrated. It might create a trigger in your life at this time. Watch out for I'm right attitude, or your faith is right, your religion is right, and everybody else is wrong. Watch out for energy like that. That is definitely going to cause conflict in your life. But religion aside, this could be beliefs. Like, no, this is the way you do things, and I don't care what anyone else says. Watch out for that, because you might not be right, Libra. And especially in the spring, this might kick you in the ass, and you might be embarrassed about some decision that you're making right now, or that you're doing right now, or that you're harping on people right now about. So just be mindful of this, and definitely watch out for triggers, because people might test you. The universe does test us. So watch out for sort of those triggers as well. Fantastic time to relook at educational pursuits. You know, if you dropped something earlier in the year due to work, children, whatever the case may be, excellent time to pick it back up again and start diving into it again. You might when it comes to educational pursuits or traveling, not the best time to do anything new, but a fantastic time to plan. Travel is a really good example. You know, plan your next trip. Research it. Maybe don't book it if you can wait until January, but I get it. You know, people want to book trips, they book trips. It's not the end of the world. Just be mindful of readjustments. If you are booking something right now or pursuing an educational pursuit right now, things might look different or change come January or February or March. So just be mindful of that. Do your best to regain your focus and your thoughts. You might feel scattered a little bit, Libra. So do your best to focus or channel the energy in some way, get it out of your body some way, clear your mind, like running or exercising or getting out and walking the dog, focusing in on hobbies. Try to keep the energy flowing and get it out of your body. Now, this area of your house also rules legal matters. So if you're in any sort of legal dispute, things might get delayed or they might get stalled out. Again, that's going to bring frustration and anger. Just try to stay patient, because when Mars goes direct in January, you should hear more progress, especially in March. It should be able to move forward in the new year for sure. And it's not the best time to like sue someone right now. Not the best time to do that while Mars is especially going backwards. That might backfire on you. Just be mindful of that. I get it. We can't plan these things sometime, but again, just be mindful of if you're the one putting the lawsuit against someone else, you might be met with challenges, delays. You might have to readjust something. Now, if you're being taken to court, that's going to happen to that person. The same thing. So there'll be delays and challenges on their end, not so much your end. So again, just be mindful of that energy, Libra. Now, Scorpio, this is happening in your 8th house. This is your house, Scorpio. So death, sex, tax, transformation, loans, joint finances, properties, debts, inheritances, the shadow. So this is your house, Scorpio. So Scorpio, you might feel like you're missing something in your life and you just can't quite put your finger on it. You might think to yourself, well, where's my spark? Where's the excitement? Where's my sex drive? Where did all that go? Yeah, it's going to be funky. You're going to be in a funk for the next few months. It should get better in January, should get even better in March. So this too shall pass, Scorpio. You might want to like move on to like the latest and greatest, whether it's a gadget or whether it's a car or whether it's like a big shiny purchase. I would highly recommend to hold off on any sort of purchases, especially if there's metal involved. Please try to hold off until January, better yet, March, to do any sort of big purchases. And again, ask yourself why. Like, are you just trying to fill a void? Are you just trying to like fill a void so you feel like loved and appreciated? You might have to do some introspection at this time, Scorpio. Just find out what makes you tick. Sometimes going back to something old and reviving it will bring you more satisfaction at this time than just running out and buying the next shiny new thing. And even if you do, I feel like you're going to regret it, especially January, February, March timeframe. Don't make any rash decisions at this time. If you're angry, frustrated, and you just make a decision, pull the trigger and do something, move, or not the best time to do that, Scorpio. Not the best time to do that. So do your best to channel this energy. If you feel that bubbling up, if you feel those frustrations bubbling up, get out and exercise, get out in the yard, get out on the water, go for a hike, go camp, whatever you can do to try to channel this energy to get it out of you is best. Also, revisiting what worked for you in the past actually is a really good thing to reflect on as well during this time. And unfortunately, there might be arguments with property, joint finances, inheritance. Again, be mindful of this energy, especially if you're going through this right now, a divorce, a separation, an inheritance split or something like that. Be mindful that it could be a bit challenging and lots of triggers are going to come up for you, Scorpio. So please try to take a step back and take a breath. Take a breath. I know it's easy for me to say. I get it. But yeah, do your best to check yourself in situations like that. Also, your shadow, your demons might rear its ugly head. We all have demons. We all have a shadow side. But Scorpio, you are ruled by Mars. So this transit will affect you. And I just always encourage people, channel this energy for the good. Channel it into hobbies, projects for the greater good, exercise routines, stuff like that. Don't sit and stew. It's just not a good time. Great time to work with a therapist. Great time to do shadow work. Excellent time to do stuff like that. And again, because sex drive is going to be low for all of us, but especially you and Aries, because you're ruled by this sign. Don't jump to conclusions like, oh, my partner doesn't want to sleep with me. They could be saying that about you because maybe you are kind of like meh right now. So again, bit of a challenging time, Scorpio, for you and all of us. But now that you're aware of this energy, you can just be more mindful of your thoughts, your actions, your words. And yeah, just do your best. Don't project your anger and frustrations on people. Try to channel it in a very positive way. All right, so Sagittarius, let me just take a drink here. Okay, Sag, this is happening in your 7th house of contracts, marriage, legal matters, business partnerships. This is all relationships, Sagittarius. So love, business, relationships with your children even. It's the other house. So Sag, you're going to be reassessing all of your relationships. Now, on the flip side, some of these relationships might really piss you off at this time. Okay, I'm just going to say it. And these are all types of relationships. Again, love, business, whatever. You might need to revive a relationship right now. Bring the spice back, Sag. Bring the spice back. Great time to do that. Even a business, if you're sitting there like, well, I'm single, revive it with your, coworkers or relationships to bosses or business partnerships or something like that. And I don't mean sleep with them. I just realized what I said there. That's not what I meant. Have a potluck, go out for drinks or have people over at your house or get to know them on a deeper, different level. Bring that energy, Sag, that you have to your relationships. Also a great time to reflect, what do you want out of your relationships? Are there relationships that are unsatisfying? Maybe you need to get rid of toxic relationships at this time or just rethink them. And there might be some delays, disruptions in relationships. So I'm just thinking in business, for example, if you're waiting for someone to sign on the dotted line and there's delays and there's this and there's that and there's this excuse and that excuse, that kind of thing might come up during this time. So you'll have to just be patient, try to be patient. Everything happens for a reason. So let those delays happen and it gives you time to reflect and sort of rest, so to speak. You also might want to start a new relationship at this time because, again, Mars is firing up that relationship house for you, and it's in here for a nice long 6-month stay. So just keep in mind, Sag, the relationship might look different in March. So sure, date, whatever the case may be, but just keep in mind he or she is going to look potentially different in March. It might actually be difficult to date right now because people might be all fired up and feisty. So, you know, again, Sag, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you break up during this time, might not last. Again, maybe in March, you'll rekindle that relationship. Definitely move slow in relationships. So again, don't do things out of anger and haste. So if your partner pisses you off, don't be like, oh, I'm out of here and I quit and blah, blah, blah. Be mindful of that, Sag, okay? Just be very, very mindful of your actions, your words. Because again, things might look better, things might look different come January, February, March. And of course, if I haven't already said this, I think I already have, anger, tension in all types of relationships, and sex drive is going to be low for all of us. That's not just you, Sag, that's every single one of us. So just be also mindful of that. Don't jump to conclusions like, oh, my partner won't sleep with me or my partner won't touch me. Well, they could be saying that about you, you know? So just communication is key, but not spicy communication. Like try to get it out in the open without causing an argument or fight, or if you think it will, just hold off. Maybe hold off on that conversation or find a way to sit your partner down and talk about it in a calm, cool, collected manner. Capricorn, this is happening in your 6th house of day-to-day work, your health, your fitness, your pets, your habits, the workplace, your duties, and day-to-day responsibilities and obligations. So Capricorn, right now you might be really frustrated with your day-to-day. Something might be really pissing you off, like, or you're just unsatisfied. You're just like, why do I feel this way about this or this? That's going to come up at this time. Really good time to review and revise your day-to-day, including your work. If you want to change jobs, Capricorn, start applying. You know, you never know. Revisit an old application that you submitted. Follow up with the business, whatever the case may be. You just never know. Great time to change up unhealthy habits and get new routines going, a new healthy routine. Also could be a time you pick up a bad habit, Capricorn. So try to be mindful of that. Try to channel it into a more positive habit. Take care of your health, Capricorn. Health issues, I have a feeling, are going to be rearing its ugly head for us. I'm a Capricorn rising and a moon cap. So health issues, Mars is inflammation. So you might find an uptick of headaches and migraines, especially if you're prone to them. I know I am, and I've certainly been feeling this starting in September, and the tension in my neck and in my head. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of your lungs. You know, if you're prone to chest colds, Capricorn, just be mindful of that and do your best to be proactive and stay healthy and work with a physician or a naturopath or whatever your thing is. Just be mindful of your lungs, your arms, your hands, and your fingers, okay? Just be very mindful of that and how you move about. Nice thing is the health issues should come and go. So 6 months gives you 6-month window to kind of wrap up illnesses. Obviously, if you have chronic illnesses, it just means it might get inflamed during this time, and then it'll kind of calm down once Mars moves into Cancer in March. So just keep that in mind, Caps, and diet, your lifestyle, exercise, a great time to change it up in a good way, not in an opposite way, in a good, positive way, like get into a new lifestyle routine or exercise routine. Think about what really satisfies you in one or more areas of life. Like this, Mars will fire you up in this area of life to make those changes. And then when he's backwards or going backwards, really good time to reflect on what sort of changes do I want to implement in the new year? Because January, you can hit the ground running and push it out there. So right now, not so much. Reflect, think, and put something out there in January. I'm thinking more of the work area. I wouldn't say hold off on exercise routines for a couple months. Nah, like try to get into some sort of routine right now, because again, Mars is going to inflame something. Okay. Mars is going to find a sensitive spot in your body. Trust me. And he's going to he's going to kind of fire it up in not a good way. So just be mindful of that, Cap. What else here? Yeah, I think I mentioned this: breaking old habits, starting new habits, new healthy habits. Pet issues might come up at this time, actually, because again, inflammation can also affect your pet. So just, or pets, just be mindful of that and get it fixed. Don't, like, if your pet is suffering, whether it's a fish, a cat, a dog, a snake, a bird, whatever you have, get them looked at, get them looked after, because again, 6 months, you got a 6-month window to fix these health issues that come up for you or your pets. I might have already said this, but yeah, tension, anger, frustration in the workplace, roadblocks in the workplace, they're going to be there. I'm already feeling it, and it's so freaking frustrating, but step back and be like, okay, why? Why is this happening? Why are these happening? Why are these roadblocks happening? It will look better in the spring. Okay. It's going to, or well, if you're down under, it's going to look better in, what is that for you? In the fall, right? So it's going to look better in 5 months from now. And yeah, I think I mentioned this already: reapply for a job, follow up with a client. Maybe you missed out on a client. Great time to follow up with them right now and try to snag that client. So, all right, moving on to Aquarius. So this is happening in your 5th house, Aquarius. So children, love affairs, creativity, self-expression, drama, fertility, gambling, anything you desire, Aquarius. This is actually a very fun placement for Aquarians. So that's actually fantastic for you. You might have really incredible creative impulses at this time, and you'll have the energy to go after them and do things. And just keep in mind, if you go too hard and too fast, you might be reassessing and redoing things in the next few months. Have fun, Aquarius. Give yourself permission to have fun. Now, on the flip side, if you've been having too much fun, that might come up and nip you in the bud, whether it's an illness or expenses or whatever the case may be. Just be mindful of that. Also, if you're starting anything new right now, you might bite off more than you can chew. So again, be very, very mindful of that. Or you might just have to reassess in January, February, March. That's all. You might just kind of struggle and realize, oh my God, I took on too much. But then right now, back up, reassess, reflect, and then it should get better January, February, March. Love might come back from the past, Aquarius, so I'll leave that up to you if you want to take it or leave it. It might be coming back for one last closure or reassessment, so just do keep that in mind. Really good time to release your expectations around love and just see how it goes or where it leads. If you do start dating at this time, or you're dating multiple people at this time, it might look different in March. Like he or she, they, them, they might look different in March. So just keep that in mind. So just try to stay open, Aquarius. Don't be like, oh my God, this is my person. That's great if you feel that way, but wait until January, February, March before you put a ring on it, because they might look different come March timeframe. Also, watch out for arguments with your kids. Yeah, this might bring up some tensions, or your kids might be really pissed off or frustrated and projecting onto you. Just be mindful of this energy try to go easy on them, depending on their age, of course. If they're adult children, well, they should know better. But again, be mindful. Be mindful of this energy, Aquarius, because this is a more easier aspect for you. Not everyone has this easier aspect. And this isn't even going to be like this isn't going to be a cakewalk for everyone, but keep in mind, this is hitting everyone's houses differently, and it could be more of a challenging aspect than what you're experiencing. So just watch out for that in the household for sure. There could be some tension in love relationships as well. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. So just be mindful of that. And again, Aquarius, your sex drive might be off at this time. So don't let that be a turn off, or don't be like overthinking, oh, my partner doesn't want to sleep with me. My partner doesn't want to touch me. My partner's not showing me any affection. They could be saying that about you, first of all, but just give it some time, because we're all going to be going through kind of like a sexual funk. So where all of our sex drives aren't going to be like, full bore until the March timeframe, or at least January when he goes direct. All right, Pisces. Now this is happening in your 4th house of family, home, roots. This is also the parental access, more so the female or a female figure in your life, but it could also be a father figure as well. This also rules self-care, property, and the past. So Pisces, this is a great time to renovate. This is a great time to renovate. Or if you want to make changes to a part of your apartment or condo or something like that, this is phenomenal, because this is going to give you that energy of like, I can take on anything. I can do it. I can paint these walls. I can knock down a wall. And yeah, I love this energy for you, Pisces. Do keep in mind though, so if you're not looking for renovations, not looking to change your home in any way, shape, or form, expenses might come up in the home. So things might break in the home. I actually went through this, Pisces, 2 years ago in 2020 when Mars was transiting my 4th house. And when he went retrograde, again, this might play out in a different way, okay? Because again, this is an Aries that we experienced back in 2020. Excuse me. So what happened for me was I actually had a glass and a mug break on me. And in the moment, I was like, what the hell? Like, it just happened out of the blue. I poured my hot water in my tea mug, and the bottom of the mug like cracked. And then of course the water went everywhere. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then literally the same week, I took a glass out of the dishwasher, and I think it just tinked on the sink or something like that. And it just, the whole top fell off. It just broke. And I'm like, what the hell? But as I was doing research, I found out, thank the universe if that happens to you. Thank the universe, because that's energy releasing. Something breaking in your home, that's energy releasing in a good way. So be mindful. So if something creepy happens like that to you, Pisces, don't be freaked out. That's the universe, like the energy's got to crack, break, move, Also that year I had, there were like leaking pipes in the place I lived, the apartment I lived in. It didn't affect me, but affected the people below me, in the suite below me, where pipes were like breaking, cracking, pinhole leaks. I did have a pipe break in the attic, which did affect my bathroom ceiling. So anyway, I'm not trying to scare you, Pisces. I'm just giving you some like real life examples here of how this could manifest in your 4th house, literally your living situation. So anyway, so watch out. Expenses in the home could come up. You also might want to stick around home more, which is not a bad thing, but keep in mind there could be more tension in the home at this time, especially if you live with anyone. Definitely more tension in the home, frustration in the home. Watch out for that. Watch out for emotional outbursts. Watch how you're projecting. People in the home might be projecting onto you. Be mindful of that. Go try to get outside, go camping, try to move the energy some way, shape, or form. Or you know, break it up and do board games, or do something fun like Wii, or something like that, where you're like interacting with maybe people in the household. And again, moving that energy, Pisces, it's really important to move that Mars energy out of your body. Dealing with people from the past. So there might be people coming back from the past, like where you used to live. You might be visiting where you used to live or where you used to grow up. You might be seeing relatives that you have not seen in a very long time. And again, that could be happening within the next 5 to 6 months. You could be reminiscing about the past, but also keep in mind, Pisces, the past might be a trigger for you right now, especially if you had a difficult childhood, you had a difficult upbringing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if they come up, they're coming up for a reason to be healed, acknowledged and healed. So try not to stuff it back down into your emotional body. That's just going to clog you up, especially from a chakra standpoint. It's going to just clog your energy. You don't want that. Get it out somehow. A good cry, a good talk with a therapist, a family member, whatever the case may be. Writing a letter. You know, if the person passed away, write a letter to them. And sorry, I'm actually getting emotional saying this. This is so weird. It's like I can feel it must be your energy. This is just wild. But anyway, I'm going to try not to cry here, Pisces, but get it out of you. Write a letter, burn it safely in the home, or rip it up. Get that emotional energy out of you, because some of you must be really emotional and feeling this, because I can feel this right now. And it's choking me up, literally. Literally. I can feel it in my throat chakra. So move that energy, Pisces, and this too shall pass. Okay, so I hope this helped everyone. I'm so curious to hear how Mars is, shaking you up in a good way, making you reflect, making you slow down, making you stop. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below how this is playing out in your life. And again, I want to reiterate, these are very general readings. I don't anticipate they're going to resonate with every single one of you, because again, charts are different, house systems are different, and I certainly don't have, the capacity to talk about every single house system. So trying to keep these as short, as sweet, to the point as possible. So enjoy your Mars transit, the Mars retrograde. It will be a fantastic few months here, and we'll see you back here very soon. Bye for now.